Okay, on question 28, we're looking at the National Center for Education would like to estimate the proportion of students who defaulted on their student loans for the state of Arizona. So a pilot sample we have of 50 students with loans found that 18 had defaulted on their loans. The total sample size needed to construct a 95% confidence interval for the proportion of student loans in default with a margin of error equal to 4% is. Okay, first of all, we're trying to find the sample size. And this particular formula is not on your formula sheet. So I'm going to show you how to get this formula. And it's pretty straightforward. So it's basically your z-score times your sample proportion times 1 minus your sample proportion over the margin of error. So it's very similar. Let's see. It's very similar to the formula you have to calculate the sample size. But let me just show you. Instead of doing the standard deviation here, you're going to do P times 1 minus P. So let's look at that. And we already know the z-score for the 95% confidence interval is 1.96. So if you forget it, it's there. So we're gonna use that same formula. We're just gonna change up a few things. Really, one thing. So you're still gonna do your z-score, and you're gonna square it. But instead of standard error, you're going to do, since it's a proportion, you're going to do P times 1 minus P. So you may want to make you a note. Over still the margin of error, but this time the margin of error is going to be a proportion or a percent. So first of all, we need to do our sample proportion. We have 8 that defaulted out of 15. So that would be 0.16. So now we know that our z-score was 1.96. So we're going to square that. And then we're going to times that by P. And then we're going to times that by 1 minus P. So that's the only different part is the 0.16 times the 1 minus 0.16. And then your margin of error for a proportion is going to be a percent, and it's 0.04 squared. Now, if you put that into your calculator, I think I got 322 point something, but remember for sample size, we're going to round up. So your answer would be 323. So you just need to make a note that if it's a proportion and you're asked to find the sample size, you're going to do your sample proportion times 1 minus the sample proportion. Let me know if you have any questions.